everyone. It's Heather, the Expat Entrepreneur. How you doing? I wanted to come to you today right after Dan and Jason finished the live webinar to talk about a couple of things that I know I would want to know if I was sitting in your shoes, which is presumably, should I join? Shouldn't I join? Is this the right thing for me to do or not? And the thing I really want to talk about today is what can go wrong with the plan. So many people come to me and say, Heather, this sounds too good to be true. What can go wrong? What's the downside? And I had the same question when I first looked at this too. And I never actually got an answer before I decided to join anyway. I thought it would be great if I could give you that answer right now. So I need to make sure that you understand how GridBots work before I tell you how they can go wrong. So to do that, let me just start by explaining quickly. Oh, you know what? I should start off by saying the disclaimer, of course. I'm not an expert. I'm not a licensed professional who can who's authorized to give advice on anything. And this is just information from another person who's maybe a little bit further down the road than you are. So please, don't construe this as any kind of investment advice or anything of that nature. You need to do your own research in the end and consult qualified professionals for, taxes and investment strategy and that kind of thing, if that's what you want to do. But what I can tell you is when you're going to invest in crypto, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you just want to hold on to some crypto like Bitcoin and buy whatever you can afford to buy and sit on it, you can do that. It's not by a long shot the best way to invest your money, because you can get a lot more bang for your buck by doing it a different way. But if you did just hold on to it, you could just store it in a hot wallet or a cold wallet, and that would be the same thing. It would be similar as having a stack of cash stuck under your mattress of your bed, just sitting there, right? It's doing nothing. So that's one option though. You could also hold crypto and you could put it into a savings vault where you're getting interest off of that and you're earning something from it. And I mean, that's cool. That's another way to do it. You could also loan it to the exchange, who will then give you a whole bunch of more money to invest in other things yourself too. The thing is, with those methods, the reason why they are less powerful is because they're all based on the premise that you're buying low and presumably going to sell high. And the problem with that is there is not been a person yet who has been able to reliably and consistently time the market and figure out when it's low to buy and when it's high to sell. And that's why that strategy is notorious for people losing. Like 95% of all investors who do the buy and hold strategy lose. And it mostly comes down to buyer psychology, because you end up psyching yourself out. You end up getting a little bit of a gain and you're like, oh, I better take that before it drops, and you get out before it goes higher. Or you don't buy low, you buy when you think it's an opportunity and it ends up going lower. And then you end up stopping yourself right out because you're out of cash or whatever. There's so many reasons why that is such a fallible strategy. And even if you were able to make it work, like somebody who might want to just buy a bunch of Bitcoin and wait for a couple of years to go by and hopefully capitalize on, a couple of $100,000 gain, because that's what we're basically looking at based on the prediction model. You could do that, but the thing is, you're going to be missing out on a whole bunch of more profit you could have had along the way. And that's where GridBots come in. Because basically with a GridBot, what you're doing is you're still investing in that same crypto that you would have to buy and hold, but now you're putting it to work. And you are setting it up in a way that you're able to get bought profit and income off of it on a regular basis. That you can use today, not the $100,000 you're hoping it skyrockets to a couple of years from now, and then you can buy that or take that money and you can go buy that car or upgrade your house or whatever you're thinking you're going to do. This other strategy, you still have the opportunity to make that big windfall, but in addition to that, you've also got this bought profit that just peels off of your bot continuously. And it's like magic, and it's awesome. And this is why so many people are so excited about this strategy. And I am going to get into what can go wrong and conditions that happen when the bots don't give you that profit like clockwork. But first, let me just explain how they work so that you've got the premise and you understand, because otherwise what I'm going to say next isn't going to mean anything to you. So bear with me for a minute. So with a grid bot, what you've got is you would choose 2 coins. One of them is going to be a stable coin that doesn't move around very much. It's stable. You're pegging your other coin that does move around a lot against that coin, and you're creating a market between these 2 coins. And that's where you're going to be earning bot profit is between what's going on with the price between these 2 coins. Certainly when Bitcoin tanks like it has, it takes the whole market down with it. And that will affect your bot for sure. But this relationship between those 2 coins is where you're actually going to start making this extra bot profit income. So the way that it works basically, and I'll show you on my screen here in a second, you've got a grid, and let's just pretend between my hands is a grid. This is your playing field. All the space around me is there, right? That would be the entire rest of the crypto market. Let's just call it that. But we're going to carve out this space right here between these 2 hands, and that's going to be where we're going to play, because nobody has enough money to play the whole entire market at the same time. It can't be done. So we've got to find a way and get an edge, and this is that edge. So basically what you wind up doing is you've got this grid where you've set a high price, you've set a low price, just like you're fishing. And this is where the highest is, the furthest you're going down that way and the furthest you're going down this way with that fishing line. So in that grid is where your coins live. That's where your bot is working. What is this bot? All these words people are using: a coin pair, a bot, an automation. What it basically is computer code. It's just simple computer code. And it's pre-programmed. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to worry and start getting glazy-eyed and think, oh no, does this include math? Does this include that HTML? Like, what do I need to do this? You don't need to do any of that. You just need a couple of key settings, which is what the plan delivers for you, quite frankly. That's what we're paying for. When you join the plan, you're getting these key settings from Dan Hollings, who's the man who cracked the crypto code, and he is. And those key settings are very easy to put in. And then you're off to the races, and you don't have to worry about all this other, setting it up and programming the bot to do what it's going to do for you. It's already set up to do that. And I'll just say, you think, oh, well, maybe I'll just go and try and do it myself, and I'll set it up on my own. And you could try, but I can tell you that Dan Hollings, who came up with this plan and he figured out the sweet spot settings, he did that after about just over 3 years of trial and error that included running over 10,000 bots, over 10,000 automations. And that cost him about $5 million, from what I understand, to run all these tests, to figure it all out, to get all that information, to decide this, and this, then you're good. And what it's done is it's figured out the spot where you've got the maximum potential for profit with the least amount of risk. And that's basically what the sweet spot is. And so when you have those settings and you set your grid up, your grid bot with those parameters in place, your grid bot knows what to do. It's already pre-programmed. And what it's going to do is it's just going to buy and sell little tiny pieces of those 2 coins. Remember the coins I told you about? It's going to buy and sell little tiny pieces of those coins when certain conditions are met, when certain conditions are hit, and it's all around price. So it's pre-programmed. When the price goes up to this or past this point, that's at the point where you need to sell a little bit of the coin. And then if the price goes down and it gets past this point, that's when it's going to buy a little bit of the coin. And what it ends up doing is dollar cost averaging. You end up continuously buying low and reducing your overall cost of this underlying asset, which is what any financial planner will tell you to do, right? If you want to save any asset at all, as soon as the price drops, you should buy more, because it's going to reduce your overall cost of that asset. So dollar cost averaging is a really smart system if you can be disciplined enough to actually do it and carry it out. Most of us aren't, quite frankly, but fortunately your bot is pre-programmed to do it. You don't have to do it. It's already going to do it for you. So as the price moves within this grid line of these two coins up and down and up and down and up and down, that's when your bot automatically sells or buys coin based on what's happening. And every single time that it makes a sell, that's money in your pocket. That's some of that bot profit that just gets peeled off and is going straight into your balance multiple times a day, could be even hundreds of times a day. These are tiny, tiny amounts. Might be 20 cents, it might be 50 cents, it might be $1.20. They're tiny, tiny amounts. So the thing is over time, they really add up. And that's the beauty of it. You get loads of transactions that will keep occurring as these conditions are met, and that profit that just gets spun off and goes into your balance is there for you. And that's the money you can live on today. You can actually supplement your lifestyle and enjoy today, not years from now when Bitcoin hits a certain level, or when that bond matures, or when that GIC has finished its 10-year incubation. And, it's money you can use today, which is what's so brilliant about this whole strategy. And in the meantime, you've got this bot profit happening, but you also still have the possibility of gaining if that coin does go up. And let's say one of those coins you've got in there is Bitcoin, and you think Bitcoin is going to be skyrocketing like the prediction models suggest that it will, and you're holding that, you have that opportunity to capitalize on that gain because you hold that coin inside that bot. But you also get this bot profit that's coming off. That's where we have an edge, you guys. That's what makes grid bots so great and so much better, so much more of a superior investment choice and strategy than just buying and holding. Anybody can buy and hold, and hardly anybody wins at that. So you'd be better off, honestly, going to Vegas with the money you want to buy and hold in crypto, because it's such a long shot. With that said, I will say, there is a strategy that people use that is a buy and hold mechanism for crypto, and it's called HODL, HODL. And it means whole, basically. But this is a strategic way, and it would only apply to very few coins, because it's something that, for sure, let's say with Bitcoin or Ethereum, the number one and the number two cryptocurrencies in existence, there's every indication they're both going to continue to go way, way up over time. Of course, it could possibly not happen. You never know. And I should also say, that's a little caveat as well. When it comes to cryptocurrency, it is considered risky, and you should only invest money that you can afford to lose, because you could lose it. You could do something stupid. The market could do something stupid. You don't want to be in a situation where you need that money and you've got to make a decision at a bad time in the market. That's really what it boils down to. So definitely only money you can afford to lose. But with one of these coins like that, you can also do this HODL strategy, where you just really prefer and like a particular coin, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. There's a handful of other ones too that are worthy enough and strong enough. And I mean, these are hundreds of billions of dollars market cap cryptocurrencies, you guys. They're not small time little penny stock level type of assets. They're humongous and growing by leaps and bounds. So just remember that when you're wondering, how secure is this, and how long is it going to be around, right? It's going to be around, trust me. So you can do this HODL strategy too, which is basically a buy and hold, but it's a super long play. We're talking multiple years. And most people who want to do a buy low, sell high, time the market, we're talking about a short period of time, right? You're hoping this thing is going to take off in a couple of months, and you're going to be getting on that plane and heading to that great vacation destination or whatever you're thinking you're going to do with the money. And that's the strategy that is just notoriously unsuccessful, and hardly anybody wins at that. And where does all that money go? Into the pockets of the crypto bot traders. So this is the side of the equation you need to be on. This is where the savvy investors play, because you have an edge, because you have this extra mechanism in place where you can make regular money along the way, in addition to potentially capitalizing on that huge shot up. So that's basically how they work. Now, let me tell you what can go wrong, okay? And what you're not hearing from other people, and even in the webinars with Dan and Jason. It's true, the grid bots can make money in any market. They can make money while it's going up, while the price goes up. It can make money while the price goes sideways, and it can make money when the price goes down. That is all true. Two ways that you will not make money. One is if the price change happens too quickly, if it shoots up or shoots down or goes sideways in a very small manner for too long, a very short move. I'll show you in a second and you'll understand better. If it goes too fast up or down, it's moved too fast for the bot to keep up with, and you won't be able to capitalize on that jump. You'll often find that there are buys and sells just before a big move up or a big move down, and there's a big line, and then it starts going again. And that's the good thing about it, is usually when it's a sharp move up or down, they're usually pretty short. They don't go on forever, that's for sure. And as soon as it levels out, your bot starts buying and selling again, and you're back in business. So it's really not a big deal at all. But that is one of the scenarios where you just simply will not make profit if it goes too quickly. The other way that you do not make that bot profit is if the price goes out of range, if it goes below your grid that you've snapped. If that price is, it really doesn't matter if it goes above, because we can put a thing on that's called trailing up that doesn't cost us any money. And if your price goes up, your trailing up would click in and it would start removing lines on the bottom and adding them on the top so that your grid can trail up with the price. So you don't often find yourself above the grid not making money. That's not the problem. The problem is if the price goes down like it is right now, that's when you can run into the issue where the price has gone below your grid, and that is the no profit zone. In between your lines, that's your profit zone. Outside of the line, above or outside below, that's a no profit zone. That's just the way it is. That is how this investment works. And it's really, I think, important to point out that that's what you have to be prepared for and not be surprised when it does occur. Because sometimes people freak out. They're like, oh no, what am I going to do now? The bot is out of range. It's gone below. How am I going to fix this? I've lost everything. And of course, no, you have not lost anything, in fact. And what are you going to do? Well, there are a couple of things you can do if you want to. You can employ some advanced strategies. You can put more money into this particular bot to force it back up into the grid if you want to. That's one strategy you could do. And that also could include a regrid. Another strategy you could do would be to close the bot down. And some people do that. Some people freak out and they're like, this thing has gone down in value. I know I've lost all this money, this value, and I just have to get out now before it goes even further down. It's common buyer psychology. You see it in the stock market all the time. And it's not the right way to respond, put it that way. And it's also inaccurate because you haven't lost anything. When it comes to a grid bot, this grid bot, the only thing it can do is make money when it has those cells and it puts that money in your pocket. You are the only person who has the ability to close that bot down. And if you do that, when the bot is down and it's below the grid, then you're going to make a loss because your overall value is going to be lower than when you bought it. So we don't do that. We generally do not close down bots if they are below the grid, because then you're capitalizing, you're crystallizing that loss, right? And the third thing you can do when the price is below the grid, the first one I'll just remind you was you could do a regrid, or you could put more money in, use advanced strategies and force it back into the grid. The second one is you can close the bot for a loss and start something new. And the third thing is what Dan, his biggest piece of advice at all times for all of us is do nothing. Sit back and just wait and do nothing. And that is actually what I've chosen to do. I've actively chosen to do that with my bots, because that is my long-term strategy with this investment. And people ask me all the time, like people in my Facebook group who've joined the plan through me, they get access to this private members Facebook group as one of the many bonuses that I offer. And they're asking me all the time because they have the share link. That's one of the bonuses too. The other one that they get, they can see my Bitscap account and see my my bots anytime they want. They can look in there, and they'll text me or they'll type in the Facebook group, and they'll say, Heather, your account is down. What are you gonna do? Aren't you worried? I'm like, nope. And they are asking, you can't be serious. You're not worried? No, I'm not worried at all. And the reason why, it's two reasons. The first is because I followed the plan when I put my coin pairs together, and I've chosen, for the most part, really good coins. So I know they're coming back, right? It's just a matter of time. There are a handful of the coins in there, a couple of them that they're a little dicey, to be honest. I don't know if they're going to come back or not, but I knew that going in. You see, I've got 10 active bots that are live money bots, and I've got a whole bunch of demo bots too. And with those 10 active bots, all of them but one are out of range, are down, are in the red. When we saw the red that Jason and Dan were showing us on the webinar today, I was so glad. They're going to be like, what? Wait a second. Well, did she just say she's glad? Yeah, I was. And I'll tell you why, because I know what the market's been doing. I know that since since December of last year, the crypto market has been down 30, 40, 50%. And right now it's still down. And I know that unless you use some of these advanced strategies to force your bot back into the grid, I know that everybody's down out of range, because that's where the market is at right now. And if they'd have showed something different than that, it would have been highly suspect. You know what I mean? And I just was like, this is so great, and just such a great reminder of how solid these guys are and how solid this course is. They're not trying to imply something different than what the reality is, and show you and say, oh, look, the market's down and look how much they still made. The money that they made that they're showing is money that they made before they went out of range, right? And I can share my screen with you and just try and drive this point home by showing you my own Bitscap account. I'm going to warn you, there's a lot of red. Don't freak out. It's just the way it goes. And before I switch over, I want to say, you know, during the time when Dan created the plan, and when it was still in its, conceptual stage, and he didn't even intend to set out and make a program. He was just trying to figure this thing out for himself and make money for himself. And during this time, that's when he realized, you know what, this strategy works 65% of the time or more. So when you think of it in those terms, that other 35% of the time, that's when your bots are out of range. That's the 35% of the time out there. 65% of the time, they're in range. So we have to always remember to reset our mind and remind ourselves that in times like this, when my people are asking me, aren't you freaking out? And I say, no, I mean it. I'm not, because I know that the market is coming back. And I know that most of my coins are going to be just fine. And the other reason why, the second reason why I'm not freaking out, is because of my long-term strategy. I'm not investing in crypto to try and make some crazy moonshot in the next couple of weeks or couple of months, right? I'm investing in it for the long term, and I'm investing in it for those daily bot profits that come off on a regular basis every time my bot is within the grid. Every time it's in the grid, it's only a matter of time before I'm getting these bot profits coming. There's no guarantees, there's no promises. I can't make them, nobody can make them for you, but they are systematic, they're happening constantly. So that's what I'm in this for. I would love to get the big moonshot and be in place to, have a Bitcoin skyrocket on me. That would be wonderful. But in the meantime, that's more like a lotto ticket, right? That's something that you hope, but who knows? In the meantime, I've got this regular income coming in that I know is coming, and I can spend today. And I'll just say quickly too, that income goes directly into your exchange account. You're the only one who has control over those funds, over any of your investment funds. That's the thing you need to remember too about the plan. All the plan is a training program, you guys. It's not an investment pool. It's not an investment like pyramid scheme or something like that. It's just a training program that happens to be on crypto trading. So You learn this system and you can do it for yourself. You don't need some third party person who says, oh, hang on, I'm the expert. I've got all these great returns and proof to show you how good I can do this. You just pool your money with me and I'll put it with all these other lucky folks and I'm going to get you that return. Don't ever do that in the crypto market. And I've been saying like crazy, if you don't want to do this yourself, if you want to hand over your money to somebody else to manage for you, then do not do that in crypto. Go back to the brick and mortar world, give it to a financial institution, give it to a financial planner, give it to somebody like that, because at least you have regulations in place that are going to protect you. You're coming out here to do that in crypto land. You are literally a lamb being led to the slaughter, and you can just kiss that money goodbye, because out here in crypto land, because there's no regulation, because it's decentralized, because it is not governed or controlled by anybody, there are no rules in place to protect you. You have to protect yourself. So if you don't want to take this on for yourself and learn the system and do the trading yourself, don't be in crypto. Simple as that. Certainly don't give your money to a third party to invest for you. That's really what I want to say. It's not don't be in crypto, but don't give it to somebody else to control for you, because you'll probably never see it again. Almost certainly. Yeah. So let me switch over to share my screen, and hopefully I'm going to be on the right thing here. Yep. And I will just explain a little bit further. Now, I'm showing you the share link for my account because all the settings are masked off already. And that means I can get this video out to you quicker because I don't have to have these masked off. This is my HODLbot. This is a BTC or an ETH BTC HODLbot. And it's an excellent example because you can see the red lines up here and the green lines down here. This is my grid. In between these red and green lines, that's my grid. Everything above it and everything below it is the rest of the crypto universe, right? This is the only thing that matters to me. And when my bot is in the grid, I'm in business. When it's out of the grid, like it is here, where there's no red or green circles, that's when I'm in the no profit zone. And you can see this is such a good example because every red circle is a sell, every green circle is a buy. So certain conditions happened, and when the price tripped along and suddenly it hit this level, the bot automatically kicked in and went, oh, this is the point where I need to buy a little bit of this one. This is the point where I need to sell a little bit of this one. And it does that automatically for you. You never have to do it. And meanwhile, the income, the bot profit just gets put off into your account balance, exchange account, automatically. So as it's going along and it's in the no profit zone here, then it'll pop back up and you're, like I say, you're back in business again. These red and green lines, you set them at a certain level when you first start, and then they're going to change as time goes on and as the bot continues to move. That's just how this thing works. And so I wanted to show you, I have a trackpad, not a mouse, and it's a little bit sticky. Yeah, you see this part in the middle where there's nothing happening, there's no lines, and right in here, that's called the no trade zone. And to be honest, I guess it's because of just the level I've got this thing at. If you've got if the price is currently in the no trade zone, you won't make any bot profit in there either. So above or beyond, and that's why I wanted to specifically say that even though it's true what Dan and Jason said, you can make money when it goes up, you can make money when it goes down, you can certainly make money when it goes sideways, but there still are certain times when you don't. And that's an example right here. There, you see how it's in that no trade zone. Yeah, because the price moved around, and that's why those circles still are there, because this no trade zone will also move. As the price moves and your red lines change and your green lines change, that no trade zone will also change, right? So even though we're seeing buys and sells in here, when that buy and sell happened, at that point was not in the no trade zone like it is right here. You see right here, you've got movement, price movement happening, but there's no buys and sells. So that's an example of when the price goes sideways and you make no money. When the price shoots up and you can make no money that way, it's if it goes really, really fast. So that's possible. And this one here isn't a great example of that because it's just a HODL bot. So it's a bit of a slow mover. That's what that means. It doesn't go very fast. And it's the same thing as far as a price drop, a dip would go. They usually don't happen that quickly. So, and yet here, isn't that great? It proves me wrong. You've got a nice steep drop down right here. And when was that? January. Okay. So Bitcoin was all over the place in January. And that's why this would have been one of those drops. And you can see that, and it moved the entire grid, didn't it? And so during this time, there was no buys and sells because the price moved so quickly. And even though the grids show that you're in the zone right now, it wasn't at the time, because that's why there are no red and green circles here. It would have dropped below the grid, and then the price would have been below the grid during this time. And I know because this is the only one bot that I decided to try and do some of this fancy advanced stuff on, and I turned trailing down on, and I put more money into the bot to force it back into the grid. And that's why the grid lines show the way they do. So, but just so that you're aware of that. As far as, again, the ways that you can lose with a grid bot, how this could potentially not work. It's when you're out of range, when your grid bot goes out of range. And I just want to explain a little bit further about that so that you really can understand that it's not that big of a deal. If you choose your coins wisely, if you follow the system in the plan, and you pick and put together a coin pairing that is a good caliber, you're fine. I mean, yeah, do I wish that it was in business and profiting right now? Of course. But I know that that's not going to happen 24/7. It's just not set up that way. It's not possible. So I understand that. If it was possible, for it to be profiting the whole time, the profits would be so low, because imagine what it would take in order for it to be able to do that. You'd have to have a massive grid to cover all potential huge swings up and down. And that means your profit would be so much lower. And that's one of the huge learning curves that Dan went through when he first started trying to figure out, how do these grid bots work? Where is the sweet spot? There's a lot of people out there trying to figure it out, taking tutorials from service providers or people on YouTube or whatever, and try and figure it out on their own. Good luck to you. It's going to be a long go. With Dan, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in this video or not, but he spent 3 years and he went through 10,000 automations, 10,000 bots that cost him about $5 million in order to come up with this and figure out where these settings really need to be to maximize your profit potential and to reduce your potential risk. So that's what you're paying for. And for me personally, I always say, I don't have time to waste and money to burn. I want the fast route. I want to pay for speed, and I want to know what the proven system is so that I can get from where I am now to where I want to go as fast as I possibly can. Gone are the days for me where I'm just going to muscle down and work through it on my own and hope that I get there in a reasonable amount of time. With this, that's exactly what you're going to get with the plan. Can you do it on your own? I don't know. You could try. I don't know if how successful you're going to be in figuring it out in a timely manner is the main thing. And the biggest thing is, most people who do try on their own, you are almost certainly going to end up investing or learning capital. You'll put in way more than what the cost of the plan is to figure this stuff out. And by the way, the plan, it's $3,500. That's what the cost of it is to get in. And once you do join the plan, you do need an additional $3,000 per bot as investment capital to get a bot going. And that's another one of these parameters that Dan figured out. And it's something that he had to disclose and tell us. But most of these settings and most of this stuff, you won't find out until you join. And when you join, you have to sign an NDA, because it's proprietary information that he figured it out. And that's the only way he's willing to share it, is if you sign the NDA. And so we all have, and we can't share that information outside of plan members. So yeah, but that's why it's going to just really shorten that amount of time it takes you to start out as a novice, crypto newbie, and get to the point where you're actually earning income. And for me, I knew nothing about crypto this time last year, nothing. And then when I decided to join the Beta 1 program, that's when I guess it would have been like April, May, when that happened. And it was the summer when I first started actually getting money in the market. So maybe July, August. And throughout the fall of last year, oh, it was going so good. Like, this is exactly what you want to see. It was, I was averaging 0.75% a day. Now just think about that for a second, and let's do a little bit of math, because you think, what's that? It's a lot. It's a lot. Now, you're not going to make this over every day for a whole year, most likely. But if you did 0.7%, 75% a day, that would be like almost 300%. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what it was, over 3 months consistently, that 0.75% a day times 30 days, that would be 22.5% a month. Okay. And what I had invested at the time in that was about 22 grand times 0.75%. I was averaging $165 a day in those bought profits coming off. And that was for 3 months. That wasn't for like a week. 3 months on average, that's what it did. And that was very common. That was very normal. I'm hearing the similar numbers from all kinds of people in my group, in other affiliates, other people in the plan, other members. That was very doable, is what I'm trying to say. So I had a lot of folks come in under me, and it's through me to get my bonuses, who maybe went on the payment plan, who maybe didn't have the 3,000 for the first bot. And what they did was they joined so that they could start learning immediately, continue saving the money, pay off the payment plan or whatever, save up the money for their first bot. And how exciting when you get to that point and you're in the community and you're sharing it with everybody, and you're hearing about other people's success, you're doing your demo bots, you're learning, like you're in it. And the minute that you've got that full amount ready to go, you're also ready to go. That's the beauty of it, of that demo system, and carrying on right now, not waiting. So if you happen to be on the fence for that kind of a reason, I would suggest it's not a good reason to not pursue it. I would go for it personally. And there's another reason too, because especially if you have to go on the payment plan, wow, you are so much more motivated than other people who are just, signing up. You're really going to be vested and wanting to make this work really well for you. Because, I'll tell you guys, to my sadness and my surprise, there are a lot of people who've signed up for the plan who haven't even opened the course. They haven't even taken module 1. And I can only presume the reason for that is because they felt overwhelmed. I mean, life gets in the way sometimes. I know that. It happens for me too. And maybe you want to revisit it later. But there are some times where people just feel overwhelmed and they're like, they don't know where to begin and they're not sure what to do, even though there's a whole bunch of stuff that Dan provides, including a companion guide that gives you kind of a step-by-step on what you should do. And there's 6 sessions are there ready for you to go. But I understand how it can still be like, I don't know what to do first, because there are a number of things you've got to get going on in terms of getting your account set up and that kind of thing. And that's where I come in. Because as a plan member myself, as somebody who's investing in this strategy and somebody who's been through it, I sure know what I wish that was in place that they had, that I needed at the time, that would have been enabled me to go quicker and get going faster and get through the setup faster and get learning more faster. That's why I put together the bonus system. It's called the Fast Track Bonus System. And I have 12 killer bonuses in there for anybody who joins the plan through me. And they're exclusively available. So if you are thinking of joining the plan, I would highly recommend that you do it through me so that you can get access to this system. You guys, the bonuses that I've put together are so advantageous. And believe me, I know what you need when you're going to need it before you do, because I've been there. And I only have to be a little bit further down the road than you are right now in order to make this period of time so much easier for you to get through. And that's exactly what this system does. And the community of people that we have in the Facebook group, there's hundreds of us. The bonus system is proven through hundreds of people who've come before you. And that's why it's in place. And I mean, by now, if I haven't already said it, you can obviously figure out that I am one of the many affiliates for the plan. But I also am a person who is invested in it, who's using the strategy and has gone to incredibly deep lengths to create a supplemental system for you that is going to really greatly help you to get from where you are now to get those bots running and get that income going. And I just want to close by saying, I've gone on way longer than I intended to, but I just want to close by saying, if you're wondering about, wow, yeah, but Bitcoin's down and the market's crashed and this is it's scary times and what if it doesn't come back and all that kind of thing, this is such a great time to get in, you guys. I can't even be more excited about it than to say that to you. Yeah, the market's down. Isn't that great? That's when we get our checkbooks out. That's when you double down, when you believe in something. If you don't believe in it, that's a whole other thing, right? But crypto is here to stay. It is so far down the road now, you guys. It can't be destroyed. If the only way that could happen is if the internet ceased to exist. And in order for that to happen, what has happened to the planet? Probably is pretty much what I would say to you. And if we're still here, we got a lot bigger concerns than the internet and crypto. It's probably going to be more concerned with heat and potatoes and stuff like that. But anyway, it's our future. It's happening. It's definitely going to be where the world is going. It already is. I just recently wrote an article about the United States and the UK both sticking their flag in the proverbial soil, claiming that they are the global leaders for cryptocurrency innovation. And they're both going to have huge plans over the course of the next year and of course beyond to do many things, to create regulations in their own countries around crypto and what it means and what the governance will be, not on the whole of the cryptocurrency market, but in that country. That's coming for sure. And as soon as that is like in place and those doors are swung open and everybody's fears and uncertainty and doubt, the FUD that surrounds that headlines people writing articles like to focus on, or that people selling other types of investments or banks or stocks brokers like to focus on, because they've got an ulterior motive. They want you to invest with them or keep your money where it is. That's why so often that's the case. But this is such a great time to be getting in the market. And if you're at all concerned about that, hit me up. My email is heather@legitebiz.com. It'll be below this video, but let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it because it's definitely the window that we're in right now is a real special time, in my opinion. And I think that anybody who does join now and starts the training the procedure, the time frame that's going to take you to get through the training and then to get your bots going, you can go fast or you can go slow. Either way, now is going to be a great time for that to be happening. So in my opinion, and of course there are no guarantees and no promises, but yeah, go forward with that knowledge. And so I hope that you found this helpful and that you can understand now what conditions have to exist in order for the bot to be profitable and the times that it isn't, because those times are going to happen. And it's not a time to freak out or sell or panic. It's a time to go, oh, okay, I guess this is the part where I just kind of sit back and wait. Or if you want to employ one of those other methods, you can. But it's going to happen. So we may as well just be prepared for it and yeah, ride it through. And what better place to do that but in a Facebook group full of friendly, helpful people who are in exactly the same boat as you? Because believe me, you're going to want to talk to folks when this stuff is going down. And there's a lot of affiliates out there promoting this program who don't have any bonuses and don't have any support or any community for you. And it would just be a real shame for you to wind up within one of those people's groups or under one of those people, because you will not be getting that help and support that I know you need, unless you're like a 1% of the population who just sails through stuff on their own 100% all the time and you can pick up programs and whatever and just run with them. There are people like that out there. Jason Fladon would be a person like that who wouldn't need all this other stuff. If you're in his leagues, well, that's cool. But the rest of us, come on in, here's the door. So on that note, I'm going to wrap this up and say best of luck to you in making the decision. I know it's not an easy one, but it also doesn't have to be that ginormous and hard either. We're talking about what should be a percentage of your overall investment portfolio. And it's not, you know, a life and death decision about your whole financial future. It's a cornerstone of it. And hopefully it will turn into one that is going to be super strong and ever growing thicker. So yeah. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And in the meantime, if you like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe to the channel. There'll be lots more coming. And I've got a whole series of other videos too that have a lot more information about crypto in general. If you want, that don't have anything to do with the plan at all, go ahead and watch those. There should be some coming up on the screen right now or soon after. But yeah, I look forward to hopefully getting to know you and meeting you in Cyberland somewhere along the way. Thanks, everybody. Good luck. Bye.
If I was going to tell anyone to get into crypto in this crazy market, in this crazy world, it's the plan or it's nothing, right?
Working with Heather, she is extremely knowledgeable and helpful, and her bonuses when you sign up are amazing.
About Heather, it's incredible. You know, Heather's bonuses are a must when you're going to take up on Dan Holling's The Plan.
Those two components, the plan and Heather Farrell with her marvelous boni that she provides, made me gain my first relevant profit within the crypto space.
Heather, thank you so much. All your support, Q&As and all the other goodies that you are handing out to people couldn't be any better. Heather, keep going, and thanks tremendously for your help and support.
I was originally signed up under somebody else, and I made the switch to work with Heather, and I definitely do not regret it.
And signing up under Heather, she offers a number of bonuses, Facebook group, which I think is essential.
What I also appreciate about Heather is how genuine she is, and she continues to provide value.
Her Facebook group is probably one of the biggest assets.
Deep appreciation to Heather. It's all because of her that I'm actually able to be in the plan right now. Fantastic. She was so dedicated. I can't believe it. I'm so grateful because, yeah, it's only a month that I'm in and it's beyond my expectation.
It is absolutely helpful to have a real sympathetic person on your side who is there for you for any questions about the content of the course, the plan, and provides an exclusive Facebook group you can attend where nice people share their experience as well.
Heather's bonuses really gives you an extra edge, you know, and it also gives you that extra confidence.
This opportunity is too good not to share, so I encourage you all to go for it.
The best bonus, in my opinion, is the Facebook group. You're going to want to talk to people going along that same journey, and that's really what this group is for. And there's a number of other bonuses too, which you definitely should check out, but it's that group, and you're going to go on a journey, and you're going to be learning a lot of information with each other. It's going to be great too. No regrets. No regrets. Get in.
I highly recommend getting the plan and getting into Heather Farrell's trading community. So cheers to all fellow traders. Bye.